Just a real quick update. Today is moving day for my two pajama cardinals. They've been in the QT for about, I guess, 4 weeks now. Everything's gone well with them, so they are going into the display tank shortly. Going to do a water change, kind of go through how I do my water changes, and do a little weekly maintenance on the display tank, and then add this guy and that guy to their new home. So stay tuned, I'll be right back. Okay, not sure if I ever did a video on my RODI setup, but here it is. It's a 75 gallon per day unit from BRS. I've got it over my laundry area, and I've got the source going through the wall down into my basement behind my furnace, where I have a couple of 30 gallon or 32 gallon brute cans that I use for the water storage and salt mixing. And I'll show you that in a second. What works out good here is that for the waistline, I can either run it down that drain, or what I do is I'll just stick it in my washing machine and do laundry with it, which is perfectly fine. So instead of wasting that water, as you know, these units aren't all that efficient. I'll use that wastewater to do some loads of laundry. But anyway, I'll show you where that line leads. So here's where that line comes down at, down behind my furnace area. I've got two cans down here. Keep RODI exclusively in this one. Got a float on top there so it doesn't overflow. And here's the salt mixing bin. I've got some water in here now, ready to go. I'm going to mix up probably about 20 gallons of salt water for a water change before I move the pajama cardinals over into the display tank. So again, RODI unit is upstairs, runs down here. I can switch that line over to this tank. I've got two floats, and this is it. Kind of a tight area, but it works perfectly. So next I'll mix up some salt water, and then I'll take you through how I do my water changes. Be right back. Okay, so I am ready to do the water change. The salinity and temperature is where it needs to be. Just thought I'd show you my clowns, who are going to have some company in the tank really soon here. But before I start the water change, just let me take you through my sump again. Really nothing's changed. I did add my GFO reactor, bulk resupply reactor, so that's working out great. I used the Cobalt 1200 pump, which is perfect. I mean, it's quiet, works great. Let's see what else. Let's see, I'm going to change the sock. I am going to change that little felt pad that I keep underneath that foam block. Clean out the skimmer cup, and then I'll do the water change. Nothing else really in the sump. My live rock, let me cover that up so you can see in there. What's left of the Kato that I had, pretty much disintegrated. Someone said I just don't have the nutrients to support it. So anyway, be back in a minute and I'll show you how I do my water change. Okay, I'm back. I have cleaned or replaced the sock. I have cleaned the skimmer cup, and I've replaced that felt pad. So now I am about to remove the water. Now with my setup, my water is going to drain down into this sump well, which is a sump well for my house, which will then, the sump pump will kick in and push it out. So what I first needed to do was determine, okay, how much water is being removed. So that's pretty easy to do. If you know the volume of the tank, the volume of a gallon of water, you can determine, based on a certain drop in height, how many gallons is being removed. So I did that, and I created this little, let me see if I can show you, this little gauge here that I'll hang on the outside of my overflow box, and each notch, the top of each notch, represents 5 gallons. But again, to make sure I did it correctly, I actually removed water into a 5-gallon bucket, and at 5 gallons I'd stop it and mark the location. So the math was pretty dead on in basing how much water is coming out. So that's going to be my gauge, nice cheap, homemade, to determine how much water I am going to be taking out. So I'll know, in other words. I gotta apologize. I can't show you what I'll do is I will shut the pump off and come back and show it to you as it drains and show you it the decrease in the height. But I don't have a lot of room back here, and I unfortunately don't have a tripod available to set it up so that I can do this and film at the same time. So I will be back in a second. I'll shut the pump off. I'll put that over the nozzle, so just in case my fish get curious, they won't get sucked down. And we'll start draining the water. Be back in a second. Okay, so now this valve, the pump's off first of all. This valve is closed. Now what I'm going to do, this little cramped space, is open this one. Oh, and I push the nozzle down. And let's see here. So now that's open. Water siphoning back out of the tank into that sump well. And I don't know if you can see, but the level is dropping on my little meter here, gauge. And I'll speed this up. I know it's boring. And when it gets to the third one, that'll be the top of the third notch. That'll be 15 gallons. And that's it. And I'll go grab 15 gallons and pour it back in there. So, that's my water change. Quick and easy. My sump pump will probably kick in a little bit when it gets a little higher. So, convenient. I like it. Glad I thought to do it. Took advantage of that sump well. Let's see, where is it now? Looks like it's right at about step on my little stool here. Right now it's at 5, so that's 5 gallons out, and I don't know, roughly 15 seconds, 20 seconds, I don't know what that was. Time flies. So again, that's it. I will, here are my clowns, I'm gonna drop in my 2 pajama cardinals as soon as I finish this water change. Okay. Any questions, comments, feel free to leave them, and feel free to subscribe. Talk to you later. I forgot to show you guys the 2 new fish. So there is one of my pajama or spotted cardinals. He's settling in pretty good. Wants to hang out on the same side of the tank that the clowns do. That kind of, well, that's what he wants to do. The other one is right here. He's smaller than the other one, and I thought that was going to be a problem at first, but with him bullying him, and he may chase him every now and then, but for the most part, they get along. But again, the 2 new additions settling in pretty good, and more to come. Talk to you later.